Hello and welcome to another episode of the James Granström podcast Super Soul Model series. Today's show is all about what are the positive aspects that you've learned from the year 2020. Everything on this show is designed to help uplift and inspire you so you can be the best version of yourself and tune in to these highest states of well-being and positive energy. So today's show is all about what are the positive aspects that you've learned from the year 2020. 2020 has been a very, very unusual year. And in this unusual year that we've all had, we've all experienced uncertainty, we've all experienced loss, we've all experienced a lack of freedom, we've all experienced challenges, whether it be financial, emotional, or physical, in all sorts of different ways for each and every one of us. But when you can look back on the year and all the challenges that you've had, but despite the challenges of what I call a year of fertilization, a year where you've been putting a load of things that you now truly want and desire in your life, that's what's going to unfold next. And if you can look back and find out what the positive aspects of the year have been for you, then you are tuning your mind, you are tuning your emotional output so that the year ahead and the years to come ahead are more in tune with what you now want. Because most people focus on what they don't want, which is why they get more of what they don't want. But when you start to tune into positive energy, when you start to experience greater states of well-being, what you're focusing on is what you want. And what you're focusing on is what's going right. And that is the difference between people who are healthy and happy and people who are sad and miserable and unhealthy. And that is basically the difference. And how do I know that? Because I was once that person. And now I've managed to keep myself feeling happy and healthy and well, despite external challenges, despite all the problems, despite all the adversities, not only that I've experienced, but that we all experience in life. You become a powerful force in the universe. You become a powerful force in other people's lives. And that is when you start to make a profound difference and contribution in other people's lives. And you get to show and turn up and be the best version of yourself. But aside from that, really enjoy yourself and really enjoy what you're doing. It's really just a turn on the dial of a radio where you dial into Radio Wellbeing FM. Because most of the world, where I was once at, was on radio static, not sure what was happening. I was constantly reacting to the fear that was being projected out into the world, and I was picking up on it. And me being who I am, which is like highly sensitive, highly like just sort of could pick up the vibes of what was going on with other people and what was going on in the world. I felt like I couldn't control anything, but the only thing that I could control was the way I was thinking. And that is why the title of this show is what the positive aspects that you've learned in the year 2020 is going to help you dial into that sense of well-being. And the more you focus on what's been going right, the more you're going to see of what's going right for you, not only now, but as you prepare to move yourself into 2021 and beyond. It is really just a mental shift, a shift in perspective that will shift everything for you in your life, from turning it from what I call a red man to the green man, which means red lights going on in your life to the green lights going on in your life. You've got to focus on what's been working, because when you do, you're going to get more of them. And when you focus on pros and cons, and if you just focus on both, you're kind of getting split energy, which means you're focusing on some good and some bad. Now, I'm not just saying that focusing on the bad, is putting your head in the sand. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you've got to focus on what's working, because when you do, you're going to get more of what's working, because your mind is the filter, like I've talked about several times on other podcasts, and it doesn't care what you focus on. If you focus on it, it's going to give you more of the same. It's going to give you more of what you focus on. So if you focus on what's been working, you're going to get more of what's working in your life. So without further ado, let's have a look at some things that are some of my takeaways. And I'd like to see in your life if you could have a look from a similar perspective, but maybe with your own viewpoint and stance on what's been working out for you. What have you learned that's been a positive aspect in the year 2020? Now I'm going to talk about some challenges that I've had and be candid with you. And then I'm going to talk with you about some of the positive aspects that have occurred. So COVID, let's talk about COVID. COVID has been a real challenge for all of us this year. And that means that you might have experienced a loss of freedom. So the positive aspects that I've received from COVID this year is, yes, it's been a tough year for every single one of us. But in light of COVID, it means that I've been able to create and offer a well-being business, a well-being podcast, to show people and share with them some tips and skills and practical takeaways and techniques in which you can start to tap into creating a level of health and vitality which is different from what you had before. So that challenge has allowed me to unearth and bring to light and share with people what's been able to keep me well for so long. And that gives me great joy to be able to contribute to other people's livelihoods and well-beings. Now, what I've learned from meditation, what I've learned from taking care of my body, what I've learned from the power of positive thinking, what I've learned by incorporating loads of unusual techniques to keep myself happy and healthy and well, have been so profound for me for the last 17 years that I just want to share this with everybody who wants to listen. So COVID has been a challenging year for people's health because they've been really uncertain, because we've all had to wear masks, we've had to, not shake people's hands, you've had to wash your hands vigorously. But it's been an opportunity for me to be able to shine a light of well-being and share that there is another way of taking care of yourself where you're not always having to get a doctor to be able to tell you what's wrong with you. You can understand what's happening to you on a moment-to-moment basis based on the quality of your thinking and taking care of yourselves in things like meditation and spending more time in nature and eating healthy foods. Another challenge I had this year was my beloved father passing away this year. My dad passed away a couple of months ago, and it was really tough, emotionally tough to lose someone that is so close to me. However, in that challenge, there's been blessings as well. There's been a positive aspect in that. I got to spend the last 5 months of lockdown with my dad. So that's a real positive aspect. So I really managed to spend those last few months with him before he passed away, connecting, spending time, sharing love, enjoying quality moments and quality time. That I can take with me forever, and I hold that close in my mind and in my heart. So yeah, that has been a real challenge. And then having to come out to Spain and take care of my mum and learn all about the finances and taking care of the assets and trying to wrap everything up. All of these are positive aspects where I've had to step in and take over from my dad and take care of my mum from a new aspect, because my mum's in her late 70s now. So these are positive aspects where I've had to grow very, very quickly and manage new areas of life and manage my family's affairs in a new way. Not without the help of my sisters, of course, but since I'm based here now in Spain for the time being, it's helped me have to step up and man up to a new level than what I was doing before. So that is a positive aspect. A new challenge for me has been this year a loss of earnings. So there's been a loss of earnings, but there's been a gain of other things, which means there's been a gain of a new business, there's been a gain of new clients, and there's been a gain of setting up this new business, which runs concurrently with this podcast, which is my one-to-one coaching. And I've got some exciting things I want to share with you at the end, because you see, in life, there can never be loss without a gain somewhere else. There always has to be something on the other side of that coin. With every challenge that you have, there's always a positive aspect on the other side of it. But are you looking for it? It's like, are you looking for that blessing in disguise? Because everybody who's experiencing a challenge right now in 2020, maybe it's been a loss of relationship. Maybe it's been a relationship meltdown. Maybe it's been a financial loss. Maybe it's been a business loss. Maybe it's been all sorts of different things, whatever it is that you can name. There is always a blessing in disguise that's happened as a result of it. But you have to really find out what that focus is for you so that you can bring it into the light, because you are always gaining something. Life is set up for you to succeed, but if you're only focusing on what you're losing, your mind's just going to show you more of what you've lost rather than what you've gained. If you can't focus on the blessings or the silver linings in life, you'll never really truly appreciate the level of well-being that's available to you. It's kind of like you're putting your finger over the hose where the water's flowing and not allowing that water of well-being to flow for you. If you want that water of well-being or that stream of well-being to flow for you, you need to allow it to flow by looking for what's working and focusing on the positives, or looking for the silver linings, or looking for the hidden blessings in absolutely everything. If you can live from this perspective, you're going to notice, like I mentioned in one of my podcasts previously, life will always be rigged in your favor. But the question is, are you managing to look at life through this new lens? Because when you shift your perspective, you will increase the level of well-being, you'll increase the level of vitality, you'll increase the level of glow underneath your eyes, you'll increase that level of happiness, well-being, strength and positivity in your life. And you're just going to enjoy yourself so much more. Another challenge I've experienced in 2020 has been connecting with friends. I'm not being able to see everybody in person, but I have gained through the blessings of technology, through Zoom, through phone calls, through FaceTime, through WhatsApp, being able to have much more regular contact with my friends than I probably would have done. So we've been spending a lot more time on FaceTime or WhatsApp, just talking and connecting, and that's been really, really fun, and sharing funny videos and music and things like that. So it's been a sense of warmth, although we haven't been able to connect in person as such, because I've been in a different country for most of the year. It's been a blessing in that aspect that I've been able to feel like I've been really immersed and connecting with friends on a deeper level than I had done previously. One of the things that I've learned in the year 2020 that's been a real positive aspect for me is learning to be comfortable with a sense of uncertainty, because life is always changing, life is always moving, and as soon as you become comfortable not knowing exactly what's going to happen next, you can find a little bit of peace in that. Because if you knew what was going to happen next every single time, you would be really bored with life. And there are some years and some months and some times in your life where you're going to be really, really challenged. And 2020 has been one of them. I am sure of it. But simultaneously, not knowing what's going to happen on the other side of this year or the other side of this fence is really exciting, because what if this particular year set up such a level of happiness, health and well-being to come in the next year or in the next few years for you? What if this year allowed you to take greater care of your health, greater care of your mindset, greater care of your outlook on life? Because you sometimes need to experience adversity to realize what you're really made of. And 2020 has been one of those years of adversity to find out what you're really made of. Are you still reacting to life? Are you still pushing against all the problems and challenges of the world? Because you'll never win. There is never a outcome where you're going to win from it. When you're pushing against, you're always going to lose. Whenever you're fighting against reality or with life, you will always lose. But when you can accept it and allow it for what it is, and think about what you want going forwards, and take action on what you can moving forwards from the best of your ability, from a harmonious and peaceful standpoint, you're going to find that you really are powerful at influencing what comes next. For me, 2020 has been an interesting year because it's allowed me to listen to my greater calling, listen to my life, listen to what's been unfolding in my life, which is I've managed to enjoy greater health and happiness and well-being for such a long, elongated period of time. And I really want to share what's been working with me with others so that they can do it for themselves and you can do it for yourself. Because I don't like to have to rely on a doctor to keep me happy and healthy. I want to know what I'm doing that's keeping me happy and healthy. And what's keeping me happy and healthy is what's going on in my mind, what's going on in my body, and what's going on in my soul. And if I'm taking care of all three of those, which I do, and I spend a lot of time trying to give a little attention to each of those areas. That's how I've managed to keep happy, healthy and well, which I want for you so much. I'm not worried about certain things because I know that what I've been doing for so long has been keeping me happy and healthy. And I want that for you, happy, healthy and strong for so long. And you can do that for yourself too. It definitely starts with the mindset. It definitely means taking care of your body. And it definitely means doing things that light you up for your soul. What I found is a positive aspect for this year in 2020 is finding a route in which I can positively contribute to the lives of other people. And this podcast has been a great medium for me to be able to do that. Being invited on other people's shows, on other programs, and Instagram lives has been absolutely wonderful to be able to share a lot of the things and my findings for happiness, health and well-being. Also in 2020, a lot of the positive aspects that I've found are things like getting to be able to spend a lot more time in nature, communing with nature has been amazing. Being able to see some beautiful oceans, beautiful mountains, beautiful skies, and spend a bit of time in the sunshine here in Spain. Now, I might not have been able to do that as much had I been in the UK, but it's kind of like life had placed me here, life had sent me here to look after my folks back down in lockdown back in March. And this is where I was, so I made the best of it. I came here to look after my folks out of love and appreciation for the people who cherished me in my early years and brought me a sense of stability. And now it's my turn to give back. It's my turn to give back to the people who loved me and cherished me. And so being able to do that has been a wonderful positive contribution that I have gleaned so much positivity and so much appreciation for being able to spend time with my folks. Now, there's always a time in your life where you're like, I just need to get away from my parents, or you need to get away from your family because you're spending way too much time with them. But this has been an opportunity for me. This has been an opportunity where I've seen it as a positive. I've noticed that in 2020, a positive aspect is that nature really does soothe and heal you. It's great for the soul. It helps you chill out. It helps you feel better. It helps you appreciate the little hidden magic moments that a beautiful bird may fly past you, or you're going to see some beautiful rainbows, skies, ocean, mountains, trees, and you can feel the breeze on your face or the warmth on your skin. All of these subtle things are just magic, and I've been able to really look at them and appreciate them from a new set of eyes, having had a bit more time on my hands in the year 2020. Because if I'd been at work doing what I'd previously been doing, whether being on a set or being at an event or whatever it would have been, it meant that I wasn't able to enjoy this space in my life. So 2020 has been a real blessing for that. I've noticed that my sense of well-being has increased tenfold because I've given myself time to cultivate more creativity, to cultivate more me time, but also whilst positively contributing to my parents' lives and looking after them, as well as creating a podcast which his intent is to uplift and share more well-being with the world. So that's been a real joy for me. I've also noticed that the 2020, a positive result for this particular year has been that for sure daily meditation has kept me sane. I can't believe a world in which I wouldn't meditate, because living in that world wouldn't give me this access to this natural energy, this natural positivity, this natural happiness that just sort of bubbles up from just taking that time to sit in a bit of silence. And that's what I'm wanting to encourage for you as you go into 2021. Think about starting and incorporating a meditation practice, because it's going to keep you happier. It's going to keep you way more sane in a changing world. And you're going to find hidden gifts that you didn't even realize that you had. And of course, it's going to keep you healthy. Now, another positive aspect for the year 2020 is my joy in creating more things. I've been able to create music. I've been able to create new videos. I've been able to create new articles. I've been able to mix it up with other friends and create things as well, and that's been fantastic. Whereas had I been working in my previous work before, like modeling, being on set or doing events or whatever, I wouldn't have been able to do that quite as much as I've had now. I've had much more space to be able to create, and that's been fascinating for me. Despite all the other things going on, I've decided that in this year, no matter what was happening, because I had space, I was able to create, and that's fantastic. The satisfaction I get from creating something new out of nothing is so enjoyable. So such a positive aspect to look back on in the year 2020. I've created some amazing tracks that I love, which you can check out on my links. And I make progressive house, I make sort of beach house and chill out music, but I get so much pleasure from that. But also creating the work and creating videos to help uplift other people, such as your good self, and help to create a greater sense of vitality and well-being in the world. That gives me great pleasure too. Another positive aspect of 2020 is my ability to connect with the universe, to connect with life itself, connect with this powerful force of positive energy that surrounds every single one of us. And I've noticed that despite the challenges of COVID, despite the uncertainty in the world, that I have been always placed in the right place at the right time. So just before lockdown, I got called by my dad to come out to Spain, literally just before. And then when I arrived, which I was only supposed to be here for 10 days, I ended up being here for a few months. And, you know, how about that? And it was nice to be put in lockdown in a beautiful place with color and ocean and sky and warmth. I mean, how lucky is that? I mean, I'm not saying that to brag. Well, I kind of am a little bit, but I'm just saying this in a way to say that, number one, I feel so blessed that that happened to me, and I feel so lucky that my parents were able to have a beautiful place. But beside those basic needs, I was here blessed to be able to take care of my folks who needed that help. And I felt so lucky that I could go and cook for them, I could clean for them, I could drive the car. I also had time for myself to be able to spend time in nature, which I so love. And all of these little blessings that happened, but also have the warmth and the sunshine and the sea, which I didn't have in London, in my flat in Clapham. So amazing to have that experience, which is the universe saying to me, hey, there's some challenge coming along right now. I'm going to pick you up and plonk you there. And it all happened because I received a phone call, I got a text, and then I booked a flight and I was off. And the next thing that happened was, before I knew, I was in lockdown. And this was before I knew anything about like COVID or anything like that properly. So feeling like the life is guiding me, feeling like that things are working out for me, that has been such a positive aspect, because that takes my level of faith, knowing that I'm always going to be in the right place at the right time going forwards, because of what I've been applying for so long now, with the meditation, with thinking positively, with taking care of myself. I felt like that it's almost as if, from a bird's eye view, the universe has picked me up and plonked me in the perfect place. And I want that to happen for you. And I want you to feel like that happened for you. I don't want you to feel like you're constantly needing to control, because this year, another positive aspect for me is that I haven't felt like I've needed to control everything. I always felt previously I needed to control every single last little detail of my life, which is incredibly tiring, by the way. But what I've realized that in 2020, that's not been the case. It's like I haven't needed to control quite as much. I've learned how to trust. I've learned how to let go. I've learned how to trust that there's something better coming. And I've learned how to trust that just keep chipping away and being consistent is really the key to the life that I desired of fulfillment and satisfaction. Because there was a certain level of work where I was dissatisfied with my work previously, and now I'm finding greater satisfaction by doing these videos, sharing the podcast, sharing uplifting stories, sharing uplifting tips and techniques, and sharing meditations, which I've got coming for you in 2021, by the way. But it's really just like knowing that there's something greater going on, there's something greater guiding you, and it's this force of positivity. But the question is, can you tap into it? And that's everything I'm about, and that's everything these podcasts are about, and that's everything that I'm wanting to share with you. So you tap into this energy, this universal energy, where you feel better and things work out for you, and it's like green lights flash for you wherever you go. Of course, you're going to get red lights from time to time, but you're going to see more green than red. I've also learned that in 2020, that being positive is even more contagious than ever before. And that is absolutely priceless. So I really make it a daily discipline for me to look on the bright side, to be more cheerful, to look for things that are working out, because I don't only uplift my own personal spirits, and I'm not the only one feeling better. It's the people around me, like my mum, nowadays, her partner of 50 years has just passed. My father's just passed, and we've managed to keep in good spirits despite the challenge and our loss. There's been a gain, which is to realize that there is an emotional level of connection and love that transcends all space and time, and taking care of one another and remaining positive and giving lots of space and time and patience to each other is a really beautiful way to create an environment of more love and more joy for everybody. And plus, it keeps you happier and healthier. I've also learnt that in 2020, a nice positive aspect is that being vulnerable, being open, and being candid and transparent about some of the challenges that you have is not a weakness. It's actually a strength, because when you let people in and you tell them about some of the challenges you've been experiencing, it just makes you much more human and much more relatable. And before, previously, I'd not tell anyone about my challenges. I'd not open up to anybody. So for me, that's been such a great reveal for me, not having to be so concerned about what other people think. It's just like saying, these are the challenges that I've had. These are the problems that I've had, like we all have, by the way. But, just being willing to be candid and open with my story and transparent, that is a strength, not a weakness. Whereas before, I'd always see being vulnerable as a weakness. I don't know where I picked that up from, but it's usually a masculine trait that you have, which is don't show your weakness. So I'm really grateful for that. And that's such a positive aspect of 2020 for me. So have you been able to be, much more vulnerable this year? Have you been a little bit more transparent and candid about your feelings and emotions? Because that's really healthy. It's not a weakness, it is a strength. I've also learned to let the past go, not happy too attached to what happened, or past regrets or challenges that I feel like I didn't deal with well. I see that as all fertilizer for next year and the year after. All the challenges that I've had is all fertilizer to let the roses grow for the next season to come. All the challenges that you have, that is the manure of life. That is the bit that gives you fuel for the next season to come. So any challenge you've had, use it as manure, use it as fuel for something greater, use it as leverage for something greater. That's what 2020 is. It's a year of leverage for something better for you to come. I've also learned that the people who are really tough to love, they're the ones who really need it the most. And so, yes, they're tough to love. Yes, they're challenging to love, but give them love, send them love. It doesn't mean you have to go up and give them a hug, which you can't anyway during COVID, but you can love them from afar. They're the ones who need it. So sending love and sending well wishes and sending good vibes to people, whether they're in your atmosphere or your sphere of influence as you are now, or they're in another country or wherever, just send people love. It's going to bring you peace, and that's how you transfer positive energy to positive energy. And you know what? It's going to give you greater peace, and it's going to give you greater well-being. So whenever you experience a challenge with somebody, just send them love. Just get your hands like this, put them in a ball of love, and just send love that way. Just go, look, I can't control this, but I want to just send you love and well wishes and well-being. And that is so healthy, because everyone is dealing with a challenge somewhere or another. And just sending love to a situation, sending love to a person or persons, is such a wonderful way to allow yourself to just rid yourself of any negativity, because any of those negative charges in your life store into yourself, store into your body, and you walk around with them. And it's kind of like you're putting your finger, like I mentioned, over that well-being valve and closing it off. Open it up by sending love out into the world, sending it love to situations, sending it love to politicians, sending love to people who you find tough to love. You don't have to like them in that moment, but you can send them love, and that's good enough. So that's what has been a positive aspect for me in the year 2020. I've noticed that 2020 music has been amazing and has been such a godsend for me, having my private little parties, making my own tunes. Music's been a real godsend for me, and having music is just a way to escape. It's a way to lose your mind and tap into a natural feeling of goodness and high vibing. So music for me has been a real blessing for me this year. For you, what's it been? Has it been like creating art? Has it been writing a book? Has it been writing a new blog? What could it have been? Has it been something that you've built? Is it something you built with your hands? What could it be? Think about 2020 and what the positive aspects are for you, because whatever you've been doing this year, there are blessings everywhere. But you've got to focus on all the little things that you've been creating and doing, and maybe how you've been perceiving life differently. That's such a wonderful way to see 2020 with positive set of eyes. I've also learned that amazing things happen when you try something different. How many things have you tried that are different in the year? Could it have been some food? Could it have gone to a new place? Could it have been expressing yourself differently in a relationship? Could it have been changing a relationship? Could it have been ending in a relationship? Could it have been moving to a new home? Could it have been changing jobs? Could it have been finishing jobs and starting a new one? All of these things are amazing. As you become astonished when you start to try new things. And 2020 for me has been a way of trying new things, and it's been fun to try new things, and it's been exciting because you just don't know. But the joy is in the journey. It's not in the destination. It's not getting there at the end. Like, I'm always unfinished work, and I always want to feel like I'm unfinished work, because I thoroughly enjoy creating something and seeing how it unfolds. And as it unfolds, then I think of something else. It's kind of like you're constantly molding life with your hands the way you want it to be. You're changing your house, you're changing the internal colors of the house. You think, oh, I've got white now, and then now I want like eggshell, and now I want, such and such color. You're always wanting to change, you're always wanting to move things, you're always wanting to try things so that you get to experience the richness of life. So trying new things is great. But if you haven't tried anything new in 2020, that means you're still in static, and it's a really good time to think now and in the upcoming year, what can you try that's new? And give yourself that little bit of encouragement, give yourself that little bit of faith to just go, why not? Why can't I try something new? Because when you try something new, you're going to be astonished what can happen for you. And that's what I found in having started this podcast and last year, and then all the things that have unfolded as a result for me, and all the opportunities that have come my way. Now, I didn't have that before until I started the podcast. So think about what new opportunities have come your way when you've tried new things. That's the excitement of life, and that's where you want to live in that uncertainty of sometimes not knowing by trying new things. I've also learned that in 2020, positive aspect has been that asking for help is a sign of strength. And if you don't ask, you don't get. So you've got to ask. And that's a great way to step up and ask for what you need. So in 2021, be thinking to yourself, who can I ask for help to help me get what I want, to help me move in the direction that I want to go? Because just don't settle for waiting for life to bring you stuff. You better start moving in the direction you want to go. I really felt like previous years, I'd been waiting for something great to happen, which never happened. And a relationship ended, I moved house, and loads of different things began to happen. And then obviously my father passed away and made his transition, but I began to start something new. So what are the positive aspects that you've had this year? Have you been asking for help? Have you been trying something new? Have you been willing to step outside your comfort zone to allow opportunities to come to you that are new, that weren't there before? And that starts when you try something different, and then you ask for help when you need it to help you move in the direction you want to go. The only person that's going to change your life is you. The only person that's going to improve your life is you. So you better turn up for life, and then particularly in the year 2021, because you deserve the very best, and don't settle for anything less than the very best, because you get inevitably what you settle for. And then also I've learned that in 2021, in the uncertainty of the global uncertainty of everything, despite all the chaos, despite all the challenges that everyone's been facing, I've realized that there has to be some sort of order in the chaos. I remember reading this article from a Deepak Chopra book years ago, and it was like saying if you walk into Grand Central Station at rush hour, when you walk into the New York Grand Central Station at rush hour, everybody is like walking around and the people are bumping shoulders and trying to get to different trains, and there's so much chaos because there's no fluid lines. Now people are trying to put lines for COVID for you to go in a shop and then out a shop. And if you were to look at it on an even bigger scale with COVID and people wearing masks and people not being able to travel, etc., etc., there's so much chaos with regards to the health and well-being of the global community. But underneath that, there has to be some sort of order, and the government, to a certain extent, is trying its best to create a level of order. But the real order has to come through you taking care of your own health and well-being the best you possibly can, which is, are you taking care of your mind? Are you taking care of your body? And are you taking care of your soul? Because those are the three tenets to well-being. And when you do, your life is going to improve, your vitality is going to improve, your energy is going to improve, your happiness levels are going to improve, your strength's going to improve, your relationship with life's going to improve, your relationships with other people is going to improve. Everything will improve when you take care of those three aspects. So in 2021, what can you do to start things that are new, that will be able to help you improve the quality of your life, improve the quality of your health, of your mind, of the health of your body, and the health of your soul? And that all depends on what you are willing and prepared to do and what you're prepared to settle for. Because until you're prepared to change some of your habits and prepared to change some of your old obsolete ways, life can never bring you something new. And it gets so exciting when you start something new. That's why we always like to go on holiday to new places, because we want the adventure. But make your life a daily adventure, full of new ideas, full of new possibilities, full of new things, and see what will unfold as a result. See what opportunities will come your way. In 2021, I'm really excited because I have a new course coming. I've got a 7-day Learn to Meditate course. It's an entry level for people who are looking to start meditating and get the benefit of a meditation practice going. And I've done it so it's a little bit different. There are 3 senses we're all about. We have visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. And this particular meditation course is designed to find out which one is your main sense. And based on whatever your main sense, maybe your visual, maybe your auditory, listening, or maybe your kinesthetic, which means you need to feel. Whatever your main sensory dominance is, then you're going to get the best out of meditation practice. And I've set up different meditations for every day. And when you find the one that really, really works for you, run with that and start meditating. Get meditation into your daily life. You're going to benefit not only for your health, but for your well-being, for your mind, and for your soul. Every part of your aspect of your life is going to begin to improve when you begin to meditate, learn how to quiet your mind. I've tried to make this as easy as possible, because when I first started learning meditation, it seemed really, really difficult. And I've tried to make it easy to give you an experience where you can really, truly benefit from learning how to quiet your mind and getting it in a way where you can start a daily practice. Life is meant to be awesome, and it's going to be even more awesome when you start learning how to meditate and incorporating in as little as 5-10 minutes every single day, and get that ball rolling so you can get it to about 15 minutes a day. That would be ideal. Anyway, that program is going to be available on my website in the new year. It's due to come on the 5th of January, so I'll make sure that I'll have all the links and everything available on Instagram and Facebook so people can sign up. It's free, so please go and start meditating, learn how to meditate, get your daily video, get a daily meditation in which you can find out which one of these senses really works for you, and when it does, go with the one that works for you. The key thing is just to find something that works and roll with that and trust the process. It's worked for me, it can work for you. Like I said, I was no angel before I started meditation. I used to party, I used to do all sorts of things, and I've changed a lot of my ways and made them far more positive and created such a level of well-being in my life that this is now my mission to share with you so that you can experience such greater levels of happiness, health, well-being in your life and greater vitality. So anyway, check it out. It'll be on my website, which is www.jamesgranstrom.com. And I'll make sure that that's advertised all over social media so that you can go and sign up to the course. Anyway, it's my gift to you in the beginning of the new year so you can get going. And what great way to start, none other than on the 5th of January and get rolling. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the podcast this week. I hope there's been some ideas for you to be thinking about for 2021. And remember that whenever you focus on the positive aspects, you're going to get more positive things to focus on. So this has been my gift to share with you on this episode. And whenever you're listening to this, whether it's in 2021 or beyond, just remember that when you focus on the best, you're going to get more to focus on. And when you appreciate what you've got, you're going to get more of that to focus on. And when you focus on the cons of life and all the challenges and get wrapped up in them and push against them and talk about them and wallow in them and complain about them, that's going to keep you stuck and close you off from the open flowing stream of well-being that's always available to all of us. That's just what I've found. But don't believe me until you start looking for all the positive aspects that have been happening in your life as you review the year 2020. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. And as always, I wish you green lights all the way. And please give it a like, please give it a subscribe. Please leave a review if you feel inspired. Everything that you do to share, comment and subscribe, I try to get back to anyone who writes into me, is always appreciated. I wish you a happy 2021 and I'll see you on the next episode.